Which is better, the Samsung Galaxy A51 or the Samsung Galaxy A50? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A51 and Samsung Galaxy A50. Now I know that many of you have been looking forward to this video, and I'm really glad that I do have both phones. Now just to let you know, I did buy the Galaxy A50 today for the sake of making this comparison video, so I'm certainly going to be using this phone for a bit more, and I do intend on putting out my full review about it. Now I've had the Galaxy A51 though for a little bit of time now, and it's been a pleasure to use. I'm a big fan of it, and the phone was actually announced about 2 weeks ago, so I'm really surprised at how quickly I was able to buy it. Now, if you do want to buy either of these two devices, I will be putting links in the video description to where you can get them, and both phones are actually currently available on Amazon, which is really awesome. Now, the Galaxy A51 is currently being priced at around $329, and the Galaxy A50 is being offered for $274.99. Now, it is possible that the prices for both of these devices will be going down over time. In addition to that, if you do buy either of these two phones through a carrier, then you'll definitely save some money, as many of those carriers offer promo deals. But both of these phones are factory unlocked, and if you do want to buy the factory unlocked versions of them, then certainly take a look at the links in the video description. Now, this version of the Galaxy A51 is the international unlocked GSM version of the phone, so it does only work with GSM carriers. So in the US, this phone will not work with Sprint or Verizon. But this version of the Galaxy A50 is actually the US factory unlocked by Samsung version of the phone, and it does work with all 4 major US carriers, including Sprint and Verizon. Now, I'm sure in a few months, Samsung will be putting out an official US unlocked variant of the A51 so that you can use it with all 4 major US carriers. But for now, you are limited using this phone with GSM carriers. Now, I've been using the device with Cricket Wireless, and it's been working really well, and I'm really happy with it. So if you use Cricket, AT&T, T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, or smaller GSM carriers like Mint Mobile, then the Galaxy A51 will work with no issues at all. But I certainly like buying factory unlocked phones because it is nice that you can easily switch from carrier to carrier, so certainly a very awesome thing. Now, both phones feature Corning Gorilla Glass 3 with the displays, which is pretty great. Both phones also feature Super AMOLED displays, and they're also both 1080p. The difference, though, is that with the Galaxy A51, we're getting a slightly larger display at 6.5 inches compared to 6.4 inches with the Galaxy A50. With the A51, we're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio display compared to a 19.5:9 aspect ratio display with the A50. Now you can see, holding these two phones side by side here, they both pretty much take up the same exact footprint, but there is a smaller bezel with the A51, especially on the bottom here, and that is one of the reasons why you are getting a slightly larger display with the phone. We're getting a 405 ppi with the A51, and we're getting a 403 ppi with the A50. Now, both displays are Super AMOLED. However, from what I've noticed so far, the A50 does have a bit more saturation compared to the A51 that looks a bit more natural. Now, it's really up to your own personal preference which one is better. I know that some people really do like that you get a lot of saturation with certain displays from Samsung, but other people like kind of a more natural style here. So let me know in the comment section below if you prefer less saturation, like what you're getting with the Galaxy A51, compared to more saturation with the Galaxy A50. But regardless, I'm really happy that both displays are Super AMOLED. AMOLED is the way to go. It's so much better than LCD in many ways. You're getting better viewing angles. It's a lot brighter. It's more power efficient. So I certainly have no complaints with either of these two phones when it comes to the display quality. Now up top here, you've probably already noticed a very big difference between these two phones. With the Galaxy A51, we are getting an Infinity O display, which features this hole punch here for the front-facing camera, and the Galaxy A50 features a water drop notch. So I don't think the notch is necessarily a bad thing, but I certainly do prefer the Infinity O instead, and also the camera itself is extremely tiny there, so it really doesn't take up any space at all. And then of course, then again at the bottom here, you can see the bottom bezel on the A50 is much larger than what you're getting with the A51. And then another difference too that I noticed is that looking at the corners of the display here, the A51 has less rounded corners compared to the A50 that have more rounded corners. So I don't even understand the point of having rounded corners to start with. I know some people like it. I don't really know why. I understand that it makes the phones a little bit more comfortable to hold, but I do like that it's a little bit more squared off on the A51 because it gives you more screen real estate. Now with this version of the Galaxy A51, we're getting 128 gigabytes of internal storage with SD card expansion, and we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM. Now there is a 64 gigabyte variant of the A51 where you get 4 gigs of RAM, so keep that in mind. Now this version of the A50 features 64 gigs of internal storage, so half the amount of internal storage, but you do get SD card expansion as well, but you do get 4 gigs of RAM with this device. So less RAM with the A50 compared to this variant of the A51. So when I was comparing the prices earlier in the video, you have to keep that in mind that you are getting a lot more storage and RAM with the A51 compared to the A50, at least in this variant. Now up top here, we're getting a 32 megapixel front-facing camera with the A51 versus a 25 megapixel front-facing camera with the A50. Both devices do feature nice front-facing cameras that I'm very happy about, but there's no doubt that the A51 does have a bit better of a front-facing camera that takes sharper looking photos. What's cool though is that you are getting live focus portrait mode with both the front and rear cameras on both phones. Now neither of these two devices feature wireless charging, but they do both feature an in-screen fingerprint sensor. So we'll do a demonstration of that on both phones here. So very quick there with the A51. And pretty quick here too with the A50. Now you probably noticed there that it didn't pick up my fingerprint at first. And I have noticed that the in-screen fingerprint sensor with the A51 is certainly a lot more accurate and quicker than the one with the A50. In fact, when I was trying to register my thumb with the A50, it took me forever. I had to try it about 6 different times before it finally let me input my thumbprint. It kept telling me that I needed to wash my hands, which is pretty strange. I've never gotten that with a phone with a in-screen fingerprint sensor. But with the A51, it was really quick. So I was able to immediately set up my thumb with this device with no issues at all. So the experience with using the in-screen fingerprint sensors on these two devices really are quite different. Now I'm not saying that it's totally bad with the A50, but it seems like Samsung took in a lot of the complaints and did actually make improvements with the A51 when it comes to that fingerprint sensor. Now, both of these phones feature a lot of different cameras. However, the A51 has better cameras in all ways. So the main camera on the A51 is 48 megapixels versus the main camera on the A50 being 25 megapixels. The ultra wide angle camera on the A51 is 12 megapixels versus the ultra wide angle camera on the A50 being 8 megapixels. Now the depth sensing cameras are the same at 5 megapixels with both phones, but we also get a 5 megapixel macro camera with the A51, and that feature is absent with the A50. I'll do a quick demonstration here showing you how to use that macro camera. So you do have to hold the phone really close up, of course, but essentially you can take extremely close up photos and they look really clear. Now it's definitely better suited for outdoor photography. I know that when I was taking a bunch of test photos with this device, I did take a photo of this leaf and you can see how much detail there is from this photo. So I don't think the macro camera is a gimmick. It certainly takes very good looking close-up macro photos, but I don't know how often you really will need to take macro photos. I think I would have rather had a telephoto lens with this device than a macro camera. But let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you like that there's a macro camera on here? Or do you think it's one of those features that you probably won't even use? As far as the other cameras go, I mean, you're definitely getting good photo quality with both phones, but there's no doubt that it is better with the A51. Especially with the wide angle camera, it's certainly a lot clearer, and I really like that. Another major difference between these two phones is that with the Galaxy A51, we get 4K video recording with the front and rear cameras. A huge surprise with this phone, but with the A50, video for the front and rear cameras is limited at 1080p. Now the Galaxy A51 features the Samsung Exynos 9611 processor versus the Exynos 9610 with the A50. Now I did run an Antutu benchmark test with both devices here, And the A51 scored a little bit better here at 177,594 compared to 166,734 with the A50. But those are the scores. Definitely download the Antutu Benchmark app on your current phone and run this test, and then compare your score to these scores to see how these two phones compare. But both of those scores are good, and you're going to get good performance overall with both devices. It's not like this one is significantly quicker or better than this one, but there's no doubt that you are going to get at least slightly better performance with the A51. Now, both devices feature 4,000 milliamp hour internal batteries that are compatible with 15-watt fast charging. Something that's really funny is that both phones do feature larger battery capacity than the Galaxy Note 10, which is pretty sad for the Note, but I'm really glad that we are getting very beefy batteries with both phones. Now, the Samsung Galaxy A51 comes with Android 10 out of the box, but currently the Galaxy A50 still has Android 9 Pie. Now, Samsung has promised that in the next few months, an update will be coming out to this phone so that you can get Android 10, but I have not gotten that update so far. Another cool feature with the A51, and I'm not sure if this is a feature having to do with their skin that they have on Android 10, or if they just added this feature to give the A51 an extra feature, but you do get this edge here, and essentially with the edge screen, you get quick access to whatever applications you want to add here. So that's really cool. I know that in my first impressions video of the A51, a lot of people thought that was some sort of like defect or like a side notch, and it's not. It's a functional side app drawer essentially, so a pretty useful thing there. Now, as far as the hardware goes with these two devices, they both feature good hardware, pretty similar build quality too with the devices. Now, taking a look at the left side here of both phones, we do have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right, we have the power button and volume button. Then on the top, we have the noise canceling microphone. Then on the bottom, we have a pretty much identical setup with the speaker, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Then on the back side of the two devices, we have the quad camera setup with the Galaxy A51 with the flash, and then the Galaxy A50 has the triple camera setup here with the flash. I think both devices do look appealing here. They both look really nice. You can see they moved the Samsung logo down a little bit lower with the A51, but I do like both colors, and I think they're both great looking devices. So for this next test here, we're going to see which device has the better speakers. So I have the same YouTube video loaded up on both phones. They both have the volume at maximum, and I'm going to play the first 7 seconds of the video on each device, and then this decibel meter here will catch the maximum reading, so we'll see what it is. So we'll start with the A51.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy.
So 111.1 with the A51. Now we'll do the A50.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy.
And we got a maximum of 109 with the Galaxy A50. So both phones certainly have very good internal speakers, and they're both very loud. However, the A51 is a little bit louder than the A50. The next thing we're going to do here is a speed test comparison with these two phones. We're going to start by pulling up the camera apps. So 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like the A51 was slightly quicker at pulling up the camera. Let's now go to Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. And actually a little bit quicker there with the A50. Let's go to Yahoo. 1, 2, 3, go. About the same with both devices. Let's go to Engadget. 1, 2, 3, go. And slightly quicker there with the A50, but looks like pretty much about the same. It looks like the ad actually loaded a little bit quicker on the A51, so I'll give that one to the A51. Scrolling is smooth with both devices. Let's go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like that one was quicker with the A51. And again, you can see in this side by side here, it looks like the colors look a bit more natural with the A51 compared to the A50, which has a bit more saturation. But text looks really clear with both devices, which is great. We'll do some pinch to zoom, very smooth with both phones, so very excellent there. So in conclusion, is the Samsung Galaxy A51 a worthy successor to the Samsung Galaxy A50? I think it is, for a couple of reasons. Now, since the A51 is available at a variety of different RAM and storage configurations, I don't think it's really fair to put this phone up against this phone with those specs. But for everything else, I think you're getting a much better device with the A51. I like that we're getting 4K video recording with the A51. I like the 20:9 aspect ratio compared to the 19.5:9 aspect ratio with the A50. I like how the A51 has a little bit of a less saturated display here. I'm a big fan of that Infinity O design. And of course, with the cameras, overall I feel like we're getting better quality with the A51 compared to the A50. Now, no doubt is the A50 still a very good device. And I think for most people, you'll be able to live with this with no issues at all, and you wouldn't really be missing out on the A51. So if you are considering getting the A50, or if you got it recently, I wouldn't be disappointed that the A51 just launched. I would still go with the A50 because you are saving quite a bit of money going this route. But if you are thinking about getting the A51, and if those improved features and specifications are worth it to you, then I do think it's the way to go. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. And again, if you're looking to buy either of these two phones, then take a look at the link in the video description. But this is Kevin here. This is the Samsung Galaxy A51, and this is the Samsung Galaxy A50. But I hope you have a great day. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos about these two devices, and I will see you in the next video.